It's time for some straight talk. The big wireless companies charge a boatload for their superior network coverage. But guess what? Straight Talk uses the same cell towers, but you pay half the cost. Who knew? Well, now you do. And I do. So let's do something. It's time to switch to Straight Talk. Unlimited plans start at just $45 a month on America's largest, most dependable networks. Straight Talk Wireless. Only at Walmart.
Savings may vary. Please refer always to the latest terms and conditions of service at straighttalk.com.
Don Batard.
Up to 40% off best-selling bouquets and gifts perfect for Valentine's. I said Valentine's.
Stugotz.
Up to 40% off best-selling bouquets and gifts perfect for Valentine's. I said it again. I can't believe I did that. Well, I can. Am I kidding? Shocked that I went Valentine's. Bobby Valentine.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guest on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Here's your SportsCenter update. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell has said that he plans on being at the New England Patriots season opener at Gillette Stadium. Good luck with that. Be the first time since Deflategate and the suspension of Tom Brady that he's been at the stadium. Goodell also said that he is seeking player input on celebration rules and says that there should be a freshened policy for the 2017 season, saying we wanted to do a little more. We wanted to work on bringing some clarity to the rule while allowing players more ability to express themselves and celebrate. We want to see that. And finally, in Serbia, there was recently an extremely rare case of successful birth of full-term babies who grew in the abdomen, not the womb. The baby is to be the subject of a paper in a forthcoming medical journal. Medics say it is virtually unprecedented for successful full-term births for such abdominal pregnancies, and the newborn miracle baby has been described as 1 in 625 million because of the rarity. What just happened? For all the latest headlines and information, tune in the SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Go ahead, Mike, Guillermo, give me what you got. What do you got on that? That Stugotz stinks at reading? Because everyone gets on me because I'm always pointing out how bad Stugotz is at this stuff, but if I don't point it out, then it's just bad. And it
doesn't need to be pointed out by multiple people. I know how bad I am at it. I mean, geez. Yeah, Mike has to say it. Okay, go ahead. Everyone tell me I'm bad at reading.
I just saw Guillermo and Mike deflate and laugh, and so I was wondering what it was about.
It was about me reading.
Well, Mike was asking me if I was skeptical of that last story, and I said I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
Yeah, I didn't either. And listen, I know what you guys are doing. I'm on to your game here, okay? I'm on to your scent, okay?
Please explain what we're doing.
I mean, you're putting, the words that I struggle with, and you are constantly putting them into the to the sports flashes, which is fine. I'm totally fine with it. I mean, it is what it is.
You don't sound like you're totally fine with it. And furthermore, the words that you struggle with are all of them.
You tripped up on baby.
It's because I'm thinking of the word before. Do you not was it abdomen?
Yes.
Abdominal.
That's a tough one for me, and Mike knows that.
All right.
Mike knows that. Mike knows that. Mike knows that.
Stugotz. First of all, there was a baby in the abdomen, and I don't know how you write around that story when the baby's in the abdomen instead of the womb. When it's in the stomach, I guess you could say stomach. But when you say, there are words that I struggle with, and I say, are you bleeping kidding me? What words don't you struggle with? It's a shorter list. We've created an entire song. What does the GOT say about words that you've struggled with in the past? It's one of the great achievements in the show's history, turning your incompetence into something this competent.
Dan goes, Bo goes, Tim goes, and Pat goes, Poppy goes, Dan goes, and the Van Gundy goes, Lamb says, and Bill goes, and McGill goes, but there's one sound that no one knows. What does the God say?
Or Arab Van Leafs in a community mirror, rap, jerky, turd, human, comfy, unparalleled.
What the God say?
Miami, courageous, stubborn, open, apple, turbo, having reacted of huts,
What the God say?
makes it cold, couple of recovery, elderly, digestion, remaining risks.
What the God say?
Value, bread, Nudamico, Numaka, hard-boiled,
What does the God say?
side ride, visit, reefer, Tony, rationalization, separate, communicate, how long ago,
What the God say?
sophistication, Southbridge, stadium, reclamation, humongous, friend, a friend, family,
What the God say?
Do you realize the position you put us in when you read poorly? Our only choices are to make fun of how bad it is or just sit there and watch it be bad.
I'm fine with it. Yes, I understand the position I put you in. Yes, I do. I'm going to stop blaming people, okay? You guys put whatever words you want in there. I'm going to stop blaming everyone for my incompetence. I can't read. I'm not a good reader. I will tell you this, though. That as I get older, my vision gets worse, and I need these things to be double-spaced.
Stop making excuses.
And a bigger font.
Stop making excuses.
Bigger font,
First of all,
please.
you seem to read fine when you're on Mike and Mike. This is it's a sore spot for me.
Those are easy, man.
The degree of difficulty on these is much harder.
I don't really trip up on, ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance.
Stugotz,
That's what I'm reading.
just played for you all the things that are possible landmines for you. Anything that involves the syllable is a possible explosive situation for the show.
That song ends with you messing up the word or.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's update our other tournament. We have neglected this tournament because it's the NIT. It's the redheaded stepchild of the tournament community. And so we have neglected this. We should do a women's tournament next year, too. No, Guillermo, you're sexist. Syracuse has been eliminated from our tournament in the NIT. The 1 seed, Syracuse, Jim Boeheim, and Dem Boys, eliminated. That means this has been eliminated.
What if I told you that Stan Van Gundy looks like that one guy in your office who no one quite knows what department he worked for, but periodically pokes into the break room asking, "Is that birthday cake?"
A worthy NIT 1 seed.
Very.
These are notable eliminations that we haven't gotten to. Belmont, 7 seed in the NIT, is gone. That means this is gone.
What if I told you that Dwayne Casey looks like a police chief that's always screaming because his best detective keeps blowing up things throughout the city?
He does look like that. I feel like all of these guys, these black coaches, though, that we make the police chief, it's just basically the police chief in Beverly Hills Cop. I feel like we're always making it that guy who's having problems with Axel Foley. Here is Iowa. Iowa's a 1 seed. The 1 seed Iowa is eliminated. That means this is gone.
What if I told you that Romeo Crennel looks like a guy who is holding up traffic while struggling to cross the street? He holds up his hand and shuffles his feet faster, but doesn't actually move any faster.
I love that the 30 for 30 voice is reading these for us. Oakland, a 7 seed, represented by...
What if I told you that Brett Bielema looks like he calls beer milk?
I love them when they're shorter, too.
Yes. Inspector Todd, by the way.
Inspector Todd is making Axel Foley crazy, and Axel Foley is making him crazy. Illinois State, a 1 seed, gone. Man, the NIT's got all sorts of upsets all over the place. Illinois State, gone. That means this is gone.
What if I told you that Kevin Love looks like a shepherd in the corner of a nativity scene?
That is so good. Made better by this guy, at Dakilla, DAHKILLAH. Follow him on Twitter. It's the voice for the 30 for 30, the 30 for 30 voice, at DAHKILLAH. Akron's gone, a 7 seed. That means this is gone.
What if I told you that Jimmy Garoppolo looks like the model in the picture on the wall at Supercuts?
That's really good.
Oh, man.
It's really good.
How'd that make the tournament? The big tournament.
Yes, the big tournament.
Yes.
Boise State is a notable absence now from the NIT, having lost to Illinois. That means that Boise State, represented by, is gone.
What if I told you that George Karl looks like the evil king who stole the crown by murdering his brother, but now fears his exiled nephew is returning to reclaim his rightful position on the throne?
It does look like that.
It sure does.
Colorado State is gone from the NIT. That means that this was eliminated on Monday.
What if I told you that Andy Reid looks like the guy who endured the harrowing experience of spending 14 hours with his arm stuck in a vending machine?
Poor Andy Reid.
Don Le Batard.
We run a sloppy show here by design and also because we're lazy and bad.
Stugotz.
I would say that's what we do.
And if you mean, Stugotz, what you do is lazy and lie and give excuses, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that is
what I do.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
If you missed any of the show, you can listen to all 3 hours of the Dan Le Batard Show on demand in the ESPN app, plus our Miami only hour that airs before the show, and now you can subscribe to our Best of Podcasts. It's all available on the Listen tab of the ESPN app.
Guy writes in via Twitter at Le Batard Show. The show is accessible at Le Batard Show on Twitter. Thank you to for all of those listening. Sirius XM Channel 80, watching on ESPNU for the 2 hours before this one, and ESPN2 for this hour, and almost 400 radio affiliates nationwide, many of them hearing the last segment and writing in things like this. The Dan Le Batard Show stinks, just like that show with his dad at ESPN. Cut this bleep out. That is not the place that you send your complaints. You can send your complaints to at ESPN. No one's going to answer them. If you want us fired, you want to go to at ESPN fan _ central. If you want us, did I get that right? No, I didn't get that right. ESPN _ fan central. ESPN _ fan central. My apologies. I want to get this right for you so that you can get this to the right place so that someone can hear your complaints. If you hate Stugotz, if you hate me, if you think our show is a mountain of elephant feces or a galaxy of camel feces, at ESPN _ fan central is where you send your complaints. I don't get it because I've told you guys before, ESPN's a buffet. If you don't like that food, it's like shouting at the broccoli because you prefer the General Tso's chicken. Like, just move on to the General Tso's chicken.
Shuffle on to the next thing.
Just don't hate the broccoli until it gets withered and brown because that's not what you wanted, the broccoli and the oyster sauce.
General Tso's chicken?
Is it not Tao? It's not, oh.
I thought it was Chow.
What is it? Did I get that wrong?
I think it's General Tso's chicken.
You would think that would be my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
You would think that I would know.
Buffet,
yeah.
Yes.
How do you pronounce it?
I think it's Chow. Fat Chris agrees with me.
I know how to spell it. I think I know how to spell it. It's T-S-A-O, is it not?
TSO.
No, that's the DJ. I don't think it's TSO. I don't think that's how you spell it.
It's TSO.
Yeah, it's TSO.
It's TSO.
Chow's.
There's not an A in there.
The chef who created it. Died at the age of 98 back in December. Rest in peace.
Oh.
What was his name? Bill?
Rodney.
How do we pronounce it? Put it on the poll, Guillermo. At Le Batard Show. Give them some choices. I'm pronouncing it wrong, and I have paid the fine. At Le Batard Show is where you go with all your complaints, or at ESPN _ fan central.
The Twitter poll is brought to you by Dell. Learn more at Dell.com/radio.
What do you make of these comments? Kobe Bryant. Here is Kobe Bryant. I've never been approached by a coach and asked to rest. They knew better than that. End quote. Kobe Bryant. I've never been approached by a coach and asked to rest. They knew better than that.
I mean, I love that. That's right. Is that surprising coming from that person?
Not at
Kobe
all.
Bryant?
Not at all.
Yeah.
But the part that I find funny is the last 3 years of his career were totally hobbled by injuries that crippled their entire franchise. Perhaps he should have rested more. Like, Okay.
Yeah, but resting doesn't guarantee that those last 3 years.
But it's been scientifically proven. The whole argument about rest is that, Pop is sitting here arguing I've added 3 and 4 years to careers. That's what Popovich is saying.
Right. I don't care. I understand what you're saying about Kobe. I don't care about the last 3 or 4 years. I don't care about Manu Ginobili right now. I don't care. I care about Ginobili when he's 28. I want to see him play as many games as he can in his prime.
All right. Typically short-sighted of you. I will side with the champion Spurs over the science and medical habits of Stugotz, who, when his back hurts, takes an epidural.
Yeah. Told you this before. Stockton, 20 years, 82 per season, did just fine. Enough with the rest. Seriously. You have to do something 82 times a year, and you're playing a game 82 times a year. Play all 82. Okay. Enough. Kobe. And pay the teachers.
I do think that that's a funny thing that we need to start doing around here, where when he's just strident with some sort of opinion, he just throws out this softener that everyone agrees with. Support the troops, pay the teachers, moms are great, have a great relationship with your mom, take care of kids. Because the Kobe Bryant attitude, that's the part that I think is funny about it, because I think most people would, of course, applaud the competitive spirit of Kobe Bryant. You better not tell him to rest. He will bite your fingers off. Do not tell him to rest. But the end of his career is specifically what the long-term goal is on resting. The end of his career totally short-circuited that franchise in a way they still haven't gotten up from. They're still laboring around, and like family members are being cut out of the family. I don't know if you guys saw this. Was it Broussard who reported this? Was it Bucher? Maybe it was Mark Stein. Jeannie Buss's brother was in a car, and some dude just came and grabbed a wire around his neck and killed him from the back seat. Why was that not bigger news? Jeannie Buss's brother was just in the passenger side of the car thinking they were going for a ride, and next thing you know, and you know who it was? It was Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson had a wire and just wrapped it around his neck and killed him. He's a murderer. Crack is whack, kids. Hasn't that gotten more coverage? I feel like instead of, what's on First Take right now, Ron Rivera, Cam Newton will be involved in workouts despite non-throwing.
At SportsCenter.
Yeah, at SportsCenter.
Yeah, that's not the sort of topic that Max and Stephen A. take apart.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't? That Magic Johnson killed a bus? Charities are good. Can you play the Donald Sterling sound so we have an out to this segment, please?
Just checking out the mailman's career right here.
What about the mailman's career? He didn't take a lot of time off?
81, 82, 82, 80, 82, 82, 81, 82, 82, 82, 82, 82, 82, 82, 80. You know what he delivered? 82 games a year.
He delivered no championships because he was tired in Game 6 when Michael Jordan was stealing the ball from him after resting.
What has he done? Can you tell me? Big Magic Johnson, what has he done?
Well, he's a business person.
He's got AIDS. Did he do any business? Did he help anybody in South L.A.?
Well, I think he has HIV. He doesn't actually have full-blown AIDS. But.
Don Batard,
who sounds like the friendliest of the monsters here. Is it Al Jefferson? Calais Campbell?
Well, thank you.
Yes.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Yes. Or is it Arvydas Sabonis?
I never have chance to be in the draft.
Stugotz.
Very difficult vote. We've never had a poll harder than this one. It's the hardest poll in the history of polling.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guest on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Here's your SportsCenter update. The book.
You sound really defeated before you even started.
I'm telling you, by the time I'm done with this, we might have to go to break. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell has said that he plans on being at the Patriots season opener at Gillette Stadium, it'll be the first time since Deflategate and the suspension of Tom Brady that he's been at the stadium. Goodell also said that he is seeking player input on celebration rules and says that there should be a freshened policy for the 2017 season, saying, we wanted to do a little more work on just bringing clarity to the rule while allowing players more ability to express themselves and celebrate. We want to see that. And finally, spiders could theoretically eat every human on Earth in a year and still be hungry. Professor Klaus Berghofer and Dr. Martin Neifler have estimated that the globe's spider population eats between 400 million and 800 million tons of prey every single year. That means that spiders eat at least as much meat as all 7 billion humans on the planet combined. The collective biomass of every human on Earth, on the other hand, is estimated to be a mere 287 million tons.
You got to be kidding me. That can't be right.
I can't believe he waited till, such a big platform, such a big game, the season opener for the Patriots, to finally make his return to Gillette Stadium. I'm with you. That is crazy. I don't know what Roger Goodell is thinking. I don't know what he's doing. Why would you choose that game? Like, go with the Rams on a Sunday at 1 o'clock where no one's paying attention and no one cares. Nuts.
Did you even know that spiders were meat eaters?
Oh. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in the Sports Center on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
You see many bananas in their spider webs, do you?
Dan, this is why when they're in your car, you got to grab them with a napkin and just pollute the earth and throw them outside. Kill them immediately.
Actually, yeah, now I hadn't thought of insects as, well, that's not meat, though, is it? That's not meat?
I seen a spider eat an entire rat.
Where?
That's not true. You didn't see that.
No, I saw a video, man.
You're making that up.
I seen it.
That's not true. There is no such video. A spider, you didn't see anything.
I think there is, actually.
Wait, hold on a second. Let's backtrack for a second. Hold on.
Mike is right, because I've seen it as well. Now, I can't watch the whole thing because it's disgusting, but I have seen this.
Why would you want to watch that?
But he is right. There are several videos out there on YouTube where you can watch a spider eat, not one rat, rats, plural, yes.
Yeah, the name of the spider that does this most often, the Goliath bird eater.
Whoa!
Hold on a minute.
The bird eater.
It eats birds?
It would appear so.
Hold on a second. I need to gather myself. I did not know any of this about the spider community. So you're telling me that spiders are always hungry. You're telling me that the spider appetite is so amazing that the spider could eat all humans and still be hungry. That the spiders, if they were at the top of the food chain, humans would be extinct.
Well, I'm not telling you that. Dr. Martin Neifler, I believe, is.
Yep. And Professor Klaus Berghofer.
All right, put that up, please, on the poll, Guillermo, at Le Batard Show. Are you shocked by any of this? We've got to update all these polls, man. We got polls from yesterday that we didn't update. Let's just start updating polls right now. Some people are calling in and writing in, complaining about this Wednesday content. We like Wednesdays. Wednesdays allow us to roam all over the place because Wednesdays tend to be slow. But a guy writes in, I could really tell it's Wednesday on the Le Batard Show. You guys are struggling to find content these last two segments. Then another guy writes in, Wednesdays are the best day. Middle of the week, nothing to talk about. Dan, Stugotz, the shipping container, unfiltered. Your complaints, send them to at ESPN_Fan Central.
Been the strongest show of the week, certainly. Been a good show.
I really enjoy being beholden to nothing. That the news cycle on Wednesday is slower, and so we could just wander around talking about spiders eating human beings. So
I have the polls from yesterday.
All right, let's update all of these polls because we never got to it yesterday because I was busy stumbling around, not making any sense.
At Le Batard Show on Twitter. Does loud clown rhyme? 82% of the audience said no. Do date and fade rhyme? 90% of the audience said no. Are we still making Franks? 52% of the audience said yes.
We're still making Franks, okay.
Yep. According to 52%.
That was in honor of Frank Martin.
Correct. Does your car have a CD player? 83% of the audience said yes.
Yeah, that was some Cody elitism right there.
Did you know that a map maker is called a cartographer? 70% of the audience said yes.
Really?
Yeah.
70% of you knew that a map maker was known as a cartographer?
Yo, chicken time.
Nation of Pride!
That's not true. 70% of you?
Yeah, over 11,000 votes.
Oh,
too.
come on.
Yeah.
That's nonsense.
You got shot? Did I pronounce that right?
Totally.
Yeah, we all were.
Upset City, baby. Yep.
Was that a bad joke? I don't remember what it was.
Oh, it's a cardiologist joke.
Yeah, he said that if a map had surgery.
Yeah, that's right. 71% of the audience said yes. Are you surprised the mantis shrimp has a top 10 pound-for-pound punch in the animal kingdom? 70% of the audience said yes. Is The Undertaker the best name in the history of wrestling? 66% of the audience said yes.
No, you're just wrong, man. It's a monsoon of gorillas. Like, it's not just a monsoon. It's not just a gorilla. It's a monsoon of gorillas. How could there be a better name than Gorilla Monsoon? Like, how could you people be so wrong about this? What is the matter with you people? The Undertaker cannot be a better name than Gorilla Monsoon. A monsoon, not a tsunami, not a storm, not a thunderclap. A damn monsoon of gorillas.
It's a haystack of Calhouns.
Wow. Wow.
Not as impressive as a monsoon of gorillas.
Is it surprising that Jay Cutler looks good naked from the back?
It's not. He's a professional athlete.
Well, 51% of the audience agreed with you.
It's okay, but 49% of you are wrong. And you probably agree with this blasphemy that The Undertaker's a better name than a monsoon of gorillas. Are you kidding me? A monsoon sounds like the scariest kind of storm. Now make it full of gorillas. Are you kidding me? Like, the monsoon seems terrible. It seems worse than if his name was Gorilla Tornado, though that would also be great. It seems worse than if your name was Gorilla Tsunami, though that too would be exceptional. It's a bleeping monsoon of gorillas, not bears, not chimps, not koalas. Bleeping gorillas, man. It's terrifying. And it's a monsoon of them.
Can you be 6'4" and frumpy? 71% of the audience said yes. Ha-ha.
Disagree.
Right,
You got to be small to be frumpy.
No, Jason Segel.
Everyone's wrong about all of this.
Is it weird to have spare sets of socks under your desk? Guillermo has that.
Yeah, Guillermo does. In case you need socks, he's got them.
71% of the audience said yes. Is going to WrestleMania annually and at 31 weird? We should have thrown in with your dad.
And without kids. This is Mike Ryan.
And with his wife this year.
This is Mike Ryan's weekend trip this weekend.
62% of the audience, sorry, Mike, said yes, it's weird. And that's not including all the stuff Dan and I just added. Is it weird for Dan to not want to be bothered by peasants?
Wait a minute. How did that sneak in there?
What do you mean?
I don't think that we even asked that question. That was me. Okay. All right. Because, I'm awkward around fans.
Well, got news for you. 64% of the audience said no.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. But I think they actually think they're peasants I'm talking about. Like people, migrant workers.
Yeah, like if you voted on that poll, Dan sees you as a peasant.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
That's right. That's all of you.
Now vote again.
But especially you guys who don't think that a monsoon of gorillas is the greatest name in the history of wrestling.
Did you think that white is one of the primary colors? 76% of the audience said no. Do you know where a catalytic converter is on the car?
Catalytic.
Whatever. Tired of reading today. 53% of the audience said no. Is Andrew Luck electric?
He's Amish. Come on, he's closer to Amish than he is to electric,
Can't
man.
believe I said that, man. Worst take I've ever given. 72% of the audience said no. How do you pronounce General Tso's chicken? The way Dan does. How do you pronounce it again?
I don't even remember. General Tso's? Is that what I called it? General Tso's.
Yep. The way Stugotz does, General Tso's.
What is right? What is right here?
Well, according to this poll, 38% of the audience said neither is right.
General Tso.
It's General Tso's chicken. Huh. So the T is silent. All right. Does that conclude our polls for the last 2 days?
Are you shocked by any of this?
I mean, the spiders eating humans. Like, how can you not be shocked by that? I think a monsoon of spiders is now scary, too, now that I have this new information.
Well, remember, in Australia, it does rain spiders.
60% of the audience said no.
You're not shocked that spiders can eat all humans and still be hungry? Who the hell are you people?
Dan Le Batard.
The monkey's throwing barrels at you, Dan.
Stugotz.
The monkey is throwing barrels at you.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
We've created an argument culture in sports content, in sports media, that is always finding the places to criticize and blame. When someone has a success, the natural default is to look at the loser. Why did they lose? Blame the loss, not celebrate the winner. So the other day, Cleveland loses by 29.
Right.
And what we end up talking about is what's the matter with the Cavs. But holy bleep, man, do you guys know how impossible what the Spurs do is? Not that they're always winning and that Tim Duncan gets replaced by Kawhi Leonard, but that they never have a scandal.
Ever.
They never have anything bad happen around their players. Their coach doesn't get into arguments with any of his players. They never have a bad guy in their locker room. It's 20 years of this droning excellence that somehow gets to be quiet when you never get to have quiet excellence over a sustained period. We'll bring out our blades. We'll bring out our microscopes. We will eviscerate you.
Has there been anything? Like any blemish along the way? Anything?
I mean, they had Rodman for a while. Rodman played for them and ended up being a cartoon character and a joke.
Nothing serious, just like marital gossip.
Right.
Right. And it was pretty inflammatory marital gossip. But just the idea that you would have a hard time over 20 years. Look at all the bleep that is stuck to the Patriots by virtue of them just being the Patriots, being atop the sport, being popular, doing all the winning. And then all sorts of stuff ends up happening because we're watching you more carefully and the crimes are magnified when your guys commit them. And, of course, there's a murderer.
Yeah. Well, I get what you're saying, but it might be different if there were 53 different Spurs every year.
Right. No, you're right. It's a smaller team, so fewer guys can get in trouble. But it's still an amazing thing to think about. You're not allowed to lose Tim Duncan and David Robinson and just stay in the same place as a franchise. That's not the way that works.
It's pretty amazing.
You don't. Kobe goes down at the end, and look at the Lakers.
Right. That is really amazing when you think of it. To go from Robinson to Duncan, and then Pop's telling you as Duncan's winding down that Kawhi Leonard can carry the team forward, and he's carrying the team forward. It's amazing.
It's just, I don't know what you say. That's the problem. That's one of the reasons they're not celebrated more than they are, is because I don't know what you say after that. It becomes hard after, like, man, isn't this amazing to talk about them, because they're also boring and boring on purpose.
Should they retire the jersey of the fixer that they have on their staff somewhere?
Yes. Whoever it is that's covering up all those crimes that the Spurs are clearly committing in the small San Antonio, in the cahoots with the San Antonio Police Department, or maybe it's those evil people at Waco that were helping Baylor cover up their crimes. Just whoever it is, all law enforcement in Texas that did a very poor job with the Cowboys during the Jimmy Johnson era. A tweeter writes in, how is the constant belittling of Tim Tebow on ESPN, Le Batard Show, and highly questionable, not anti-Christian racism? Seriously, dude. Do I even make fun of Tebow that much? We were talking, the only time he got mentioned today was in the context of Russell Wilson and the religious quarterback, and it was us saying that he's not dorky, that Tim Tebow's not dorky.
I said he's cool.
We made fun of Russell Wilson today.
We did.
That's on us.
Yeah, but we made fun of Russell Wilson for not being cool. It's not because of his religion. It's because he's not cool.
Yeah, but you made fun of Russell Wilson.
Look, man, I'm a safe space for religious people. Our interviews on Highly Questionable often go the religious route. I don't judge religious people. I don't judge them harshly. I come from religion. My parents, my mother is very religious.
But when you mock Russell Wilson, by extension, you're going to get some of that. I think that's what Mike and I are trying to tell you.
But that wasn't. We weren't saying that Russell Wilson is a dork because he's religious. We were saying Russell Wilson's a dork because he's a dork.
I know, but when you make fun of Russell Wilson, you're going to get some of that. I know exactly what you said. I was here. I was saying it with you. But when you make fun of Russell Wilson, you're going to get some of that by extension.
Pretty sure, if maybe all of us are religious in some aspect.
Wait a minute, but didn't I go the extra step of even saying during the Russell Wilson discussion, hey, there's bravery in that in 2017? There's bravery in being a public espouser of your faith in public forums.
I believe you did, but once you start poking fun at Russell Wilson, the rest becomes meaningless. People don't hear that after that. I'm serious. Just telling you.
Let me ask you this question then. Who is the overtly religious person who wears their religion, their God, on their sleeve and also gets to be really cool?
Chance the Rapper.
How many others do we have? Do we get a lot? That's good.
Chance the Rapper is unlike anyone I've ever seen.
Any in sports?
Especially in today's age where someone's so quick to jump down someone's throat for that. It's actually pretty cool that everyone's pretty accepting of it.
Anyone in sports?
Is there anyone in sports? Is there sort of, is it viewed as uncool to be religious? That's actually an interesting conversation that we don't have time for because we've got 50 seconds left. But is there someone in sports? Because I feel like Tim Tebow was that for the religious. He was cool for the religious, but then, I mean, it sort of breaks down along political lines where if you're an atheist and someone is throwing their religion in your face and their God is not your God, the next thing you know, you end up in a bunch of arguments, and so you think someone's a dweeb for merely being religious. But I don't believe that's been done by this show, and I know it hasn't been done by Highly Questionable because we've gotten several interviews over the years in which basically it's Mark Richt or Dabo Swinney talking about religious ideals in ways that you never hear on ESPN. Stay in school, kids.
And now, insurance-minded speeches from Geico.
Let's talk about power. To illustrate this, allow me to tell you a story about how I moved a tow truck 25 miles using only my index finger. I was stranded with a flat tire. I opened the Geico app. Then, with a few taps of my finger, I beckoned emergency roadside assistance and a tow truck to my car. I invite you all to unleash the full potential of your fingertips with the Geico app. Thank you.